There we go. Perfect timing. Oh, what a jump, and it's a smallmouth on my mountain lake. Welcome aboard, it's Cornell with YouTube Fishing Vids. I found a transition spot where it went from, that's a nice smallmouth too. This is what I'm after, guys. Lake Habeeb in the Rocky Gap State Park. The transition from gravelly rock to chunk rock, and right on the edge of the grass, I got this nice smallie in my drop shot. It's gonna be a finesse day. This water is ultra clear, and I'm enjoying this fight right now. I just took two little turns of my drag to make sure it was just right, and it's holding this bass beautifully. Let me get a little more line. He's right in the nose. What a pretty fish. That is great. First fish of the day, and it's a nice smallmouth. There you go, folks. All right, I'm finally out of my local zone, about an hour and a half northwest, right up here in the mountains of Maryland. So there you go, smallmouth, mountain reservoir, Lake Habeeb. There's the magic bait, the robo worm, 6-inch straight tail worm, morning dawn with a little hot tip. I'm gonna be throwing that on my 5-pound test, folks. I'm telling you what, this is as finessey as you can get right here with this drop shot setup. So a little 1/0 light wire rebarb. As you've seen once, you'll see it again in all my videos when I'm doing my drop shot. And it's a perfect little nose hook job. Texas rig, not a nose hook job, Texas rig. Tons and tons of vegetation in this lake. Tons of weeds, a lot of good cover. So we're going to keep that Texas rig to keep it out of the mess and the muck. Dropping it down to about a little more than a foot, maybe 16 inches. And there's a 1/8 ounce tungsten cylinder style, so we can slide it through those weeds really good. All right, CI4 Shimano Stratic with, like I said, 5-pound test, folks. This is Sunline fluorocarbon. It's absolutely an awesome setup for this deal. And always add a little scent to your drop shot. If they sneak up on it and they're just nosing at it, that little extra something will just give them a reason to bite. So let's get back out there, right on the edge of that chunk rock, right on the edge of the weeds, see if there's another smallie in there. Absolute do nothing. I was not even moving it. I basically had the line slack, was tweaking my drag just a touch, and I basically just pulled up on it and it just loaded, and you saw the jump. He launched himself. So another bait I'm going to be using as I cruise down the bank here looking for roaming fish is this perfect little Kitech swim bait. So I've got that tiny little 1/16 of an ounce tungsten on that itty bitty little #1 Mustad megabyte hook, and I dipped that tail, that's the bluegill flash color, dipped in a little bit of chartreuse to stimulate a perfect little bluegill. Tons of panfish in this lake. So as I cruise this bank, I'm basically just be throwing this up on the bank like a little spinnerbait, but it's that much more subtle because it's that crystal clear and it's that pressure to lake. So I'm going to continue to work this little swim bait as I go, and as I get on spots where there's a little bit more cover, or if I see that transition like that little pebble rock into chunk rock, that's where I'm going to start dropping those weed edges and getting that drop shot going. So a fluke, you know, a lot of real subtle things. If the wind was real calm, I can work that Senko real well. That would be a really good option right now, but I'm going to cover some water with a real finessey swim bait, and I'm going to work the edges of the weeds and the drops with the drop shot. There we go. Found myself a nice point over here and got my second bass. Let's see what we got. That's the first cast on this point. I've been beating up shorelines. This feels like a decent fish. It's holding down pretty good. Let's see what we got. I wonder if I got a smallmouth or a largemouth. That's what's so cool about this place, is that you never know what you're going to catch. Oh, it's a nice little largemouth. Good deal. Check him out. Perfect. All right, second fish of the day. Let's turn the boat around. The sun is shining, and it's gorgeous out here, man. I can't even believe the weather. If you look around me, you can see the mountain leaves are already changing. Again, it's going to be a hot one today, but we've had some cool nights. So there's bass number 2 on my drop shot. Nothing on the swim bait yet. I've actually thrown an underspin also, but the drop shot is going to be the king today. I'm very confident of it on all these weed lines. So let's work this point out, see if we can catch another one. There we go. Second point, first cast. Not a big one, but I'm marking a lot of fish. So yeah, I'm down all the way down to 25 feet in 70-degree water. This one's not putting up much of a fight. Little largemouth. Man, he didn't fight at all. That's crazy. Okay, there's number 3. But again, first cast on this point. He's a little skinny guy too. All right, let's see what's going on. Maybe we'll find a group here. Okay, Didn't even turn my handle. There he goes. Oh, is it a smallmouth jumping like that or just another largemouth? Give me some love. I think it's a largemouth. All right, we're coming around the point. Still picking up some little guys, but he's a little guy. He's got a little more to him, just a little bit. So there he goes. Fish number 4. Drop shot, never fails. There we go. Just let it get to the bottom. Oh my gosh, I love it. Just on the drop, straight down. Let's see if I can keep this guy from jumping. All right, number 5. Little bit better fish. He's digging down. It's a good thing. I don't want him to jump. It's a little better fish. He's trying to get back down. Oh, there's a big one following him. There's a great big one right behind him. Oh, there's a smallmouth behind him. How cool is that? Come here. Oh, thanks for the shower, buddy. Come here. I know, I was looking at your buddy down there. Come here, let's do that. Make it easy on us. Not that big, you can't handle it. There we go, number 5. These points are producing. I finally figured out a little bit of a pattern here and how deep they are. They're down about 12 to 15 feet. So let's see if we can get that bigger one that I saw swim behind him and smallmouth that I saw behind him. I'm very happy to share, but I think these guys saw me catch a fish and they just decided to literally park themselves directly in front of me where I'm casting. I just have no words. It's a matter of etiquette. It's just a matter of courtesy, but you know, I never let it get to me. I just move on. It's a big lake, plenty of fish to catch, and I just thought it'd be an interesting point to show you all that if you're out there on the water and you got guys fishing, the last thing you want to do is have any kind of confrontation, and you definitely don't want to be that guy. So definitely be conscious of your fellow fishermen and just be nice on the water. Hey there, I'll have to call you back. I just caught a fish. Bye. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. It's kind of like running your finger under the faucet trying to get it to get hot faster. And I ended up making a phone call to check in, and I literally saw this one come up and grab it as I'm halfway reeling it in. That's pretty funny. So another nice largemouth, number 6. In she comes. I went back to that straight morning dawn. I ran out of the, I have a few more, but I have an open pack of morning dawn, so that hot tip has gone by the wayside to just a classic morning dawn for number 6. All right, there we go. Got something on. There's some kind of weird bend in the weed edge over here, and the second I threw to it, I got hooked up. So let's see if that's got something going on over there. It's only 2 casts since that last phone call fish. Let's turn this around. Nothing huge. I didn't expect to get a lot of big fish out here, but I'm just happy to get some numbers. Every now and then a big old chunky smallmouth might hit, and there are absolutely just big fish in here. So I'm not going to be surprised if I land into a big one, but I'm not going to bet on it. I'm just going to keep on fishing. If it happens, it happens. There we go. That is my first cast after a while fishing with the swim. It just got off. Okay, so here's the deal. The wind just picked up. Look around me. If you look back on a couple of those fish I was catching, it was dead slick calm. I mean, dead calm. So I wasn't bothering with the swim bait. So I literally just picked it up with this breeze, threw it over the weed edge. I've been fishing on the outside, really steep drop of this weed edge, but beyond this inside line, it's a little deeper water over by the rocks in the shoreline. So first cast with the swim bait, had a dink whack it. It wasn't too bad a fish, but as it came over the thicker grass, it got in there and came unbuttoned. So I'm going to go ahead and keep throwing this as the wind drifts me along the shoreline. So there's the second bait, first fish on the swim bait. Oh, I got that tiny ding. Oh, it's a little crappie on my little weedless swim bait. That is so funny. I don't know if you folks were watching, but I'm kind of working it with a steady retrieve and a tiny twitch or two, kind of working it like a fluke. It's got the boot tail, but that little steady swimming action, a pause and a couple twitches just gives it that erratic action, and we'll get that reaction bite out of a crappie. That's pretty funny. All right, so there's the first official fish in the boat with my itty bitty super finesse little swim bait. So let's keep throwing that and see if we can get something. the wind dies down, I find myself another drop, out comes the drop shot again. Here's a quick and easy look at that super finessey little swim bait setup. So there's a little Kitech, that's the little swing impact. Specifically, let's make sure you guys know what I'm dealing with here. Just a 4-inch, just the easy shiner actually is what that is. Sorry about that. That's the easy shiner Kitech 4-inch bluegill flash. That's the I got that out of my mystery tackle box this month. That's the #1 must-add megabyte hook, 16th ounce tungsten, and just a little peg right there. So what that's going to let you do is have the mega weedless little swim bait. Super subtle, super shallow as needed, but just a Texas rig, just to the bend, straight out. I mean mega straight out. Make sure that comes out right down the middle so you get the perfect swimming action. That megabyte hook has a really good bend in it, so it really holds that bait. These are real soft. You might barely get a fish or two out of one bait, but this little hook holds it on great. So you just want to make sure you bend it back enough to get it centered down the belly, and absolutely be sure to come perpendicular out the back, really straight. By doing that, you're gonna have a super straight swim bait, Texas rigged, super slick little sliding deal right through the weeds. No issues on that, guys. So let's dip the tail a little chartreuse, make it look like my original one did. A little chartreuse gives it a little bit of extra flash like a bluegill. Let's see if we can get another fish, something a little bigger than a crappie. All right, I'm motoring over to the same little tree where I got whacked and had them mess up my little swim bait before I had to re-rig. So after I got whacked, I had to re-rig. But here's the deal. Drop shot special, the exact same rod I've been using today with my drop shot. It's just a 6'8" medium light extra fast action rod. It has exactly the same reel and it has exactly the same line, just some 10-pound test braid, but this actually has about an 8-pound test fluorocarbon leader. So I'm throwing that really light 5-pound test with my drop shot. With this, it's just the braid to leader, maybe about, I don't know, 3 feet of 8-pound test with this itty bitty little Finesse swim bait. So literally the same setup. It's just so versatile for all kinds of finesse reasons. So throwing a little 1/16 of an ounce tungsten on an itty bitty 4-inch swim bait like this Texas rig makes for a pretty awesome setup. One of the best reasons why I've Texas rigged that little itty bitty Finesse deal is that it's so streamlined that when I'm going through weeds, I'm going through grass and things like that, unlike a belly weighted swim bait hook, this is just not going to catch it. Even with that little peg right there, that peg even helps it become more streamlined. But those belly weighted swim bait hooks, you know, you have the eye of the hook usually exposed and outside the nose of the bait, so it catches all kinds of grass, and it actually has a completely different fall also. When I kill this bait, it goes straight nose down into the grass, and I can just pull it right out with no hang-ups whatsoever. Those belly weighted deals, depending on the type you have, is more like a horizontal fall. So this is just a great option for throwing into a little bit of moderate wood, things like that. I'll throw it and skim it right over the branches of a lay down. Once it comes out of the lay down, there's some grass, I'll let it drop into the grass and I'll pull it free. It's just a really great finesse way to go. And when it's a pressured lake like this, it's ultra crystal clear. This is a great alternative to those big old swim baits or even those little swim baits. Sometimes it's just too flashy. This itty bitty little boot tail is just barely kicking, and with smallmouth in here and pressured largemouth and whatnot, and a little bit of a breeze like this, this is absolutely a perfect little finesse swim bait. The medium light action rod and the 10-pound test braid is crucial because it's so light. Like I said, it's a 1/16 of an ounce tungsten. You know, if I was bumping up to an 1/8 of an ounce and I was throwing a little bit bigger swim bait, I'd be throwing it on, you know, a 7-foot medium action spinning rod with 12-pound test braid or up to 15. But this little guy needs a lot of love when it comes to lightweight everything. So medium light, 6'8", fast action rod is perfect. The light line, the light braid, and a leader line that's in fluorocarbon for the invisibility is perfect. Okay, so the wind has virtually died again, so I'm going to put up the swim bait, get back to that drop shot, see if I can get off these edges, and I'm getting close to the dam where there's some moving water, so hopefully I'll find those smallmouth. Unbelievable, first cast with the drop shot. Literally didn't even hit the bottom, and I got myself another nice largemouth right at the base of that tree. Makes perfect sense. So right off the edge of the weeds, and there's a lay down straight in front of me. Perfect. I love it. Isn't that great? Just numbers, that's all good though. Beautiful little mountain bass. All right, there goes swim bait Fish number 2. It doesn't feel big, but let's see what it is, because this place has got all kinds of critters. What do we got? Green sunfish. Panfish on the, yeah, that's a green sunfish, it looks like. So we've got the panfish eating the heck. I've been getting popped right and left. They're tearing up the Kitech, but that's a pretty one. Take a look at that fish. Just a little green sunfish hanging out here in the Lake Habeeb on the rocks here by the dam. So, all right, so the swim bait's catching something. It's not catching what I wanted to catch, but let's just keep throwing it. The wind's still up, just a hair. Well, the dam area didn't produce very well. Maybe just the green sunfish, I guess, but I even saw a yellow perch come up and chase my little swim bait. So you downsize that much, you're bound to get a couple little nips off a little this and little that, but I've got some more calm wind now, so I'm going to continue off these drops with this drop shot and see what happens. There it is. I got a spinnerbait fish, guys. I knew with the wind I'd have to throw it eventually, and it's kind of a finesse spinnerbait. It's called the finesse spinnerbait, and actually it's the biggest largemouth of the day on it. So that's how it goes sometimes. You think you got to deal with finesse with all day, but you break out a spinnerbait when the wind blows. I got the mouse colored 5/16 ounce War Eagle with that little chrome blade and that little Colorado blade in gold. And there's the first largemouth on a spinnerbait today, and a bigger one. How about that? So I got all kinds of laydowns. I got wind. They're up shallow in this situation, so I'm going to be throwing this spinnerbait a little bit while this wind's blowing. Was that a long distance bite or what? Wow. I got him though. I'm way out here off the bank, and I'm skimming this finesse spinnerbait over the grass, some pretty deep grass, and I got myself a little dink. Well, this second spinnerbait fish of the day. I'm happy as heck with that. Anytime I can power fish on a crystal clear lake like this, I'm happy. All right, there's number 2 spinnerbait fish. Let's just keep burning this thing right over the top of this grass and weeds. This wind has really picked up, and a lot of times, you know, I've actually heard a few comments out there as to why do you keep saying you're throwing a spinnerbait in the wind? What is the deal with the wind in a spinnerbait and or chatterbaits and anything that's got a lot of flash to it? When this water surface is all disturbed like this, and the light refraction is getting all disturbed from the waves and the ripple action, they can't make out what they're looking at. You know, if this was crystal clear, calm water, the blades and the bait are just so much more visible. But when you've got this ripple on the water and all this disturbance, all they're seeing is this flashing and this all kinds of chaos going on with those blades, and they can't quite make it out, so they're willing to commit that much better. You can catch them when it's calm, you can catch them when it's got a little more stain in the water, when there's not as much wind. But when it's crystal clear water like this, wind is everything when it comes to a spinnerbait. So like I said, I got this 5/16 ounce spinnerbait with these smaller blades and a mouse color. That mouse color is really, really translucent. It just barely is visible in the water. Gives off just a little bit of glimmer along with those blades, and it's just a perfect spinnerbait for these conditions. So let's see if we can get another one. There we go. Finally got one off that weed edge. Cool, a little bit bigger, nothing crazy. But again, a spinnerbait fish. How cool is that? My setup is really, really perfect for my spinnerbait. It's just my 7-foot medium action Avid St. Croix rod with another dink, 15-pound test fluorocarbon, and a high-speed speed spool lose reel. Just absolutely perfect. So yeah, the wind's continuing to blow, so I'm just covering water and I'm beating up this weed edge, just bringing the spinnerbait right over it and pulling it through the grass, and it's popping a bass every now and then. Oh, right in the tree. Beautiful. I hope it gets out. Oh, this is going to be a challenge. Please come out of that tree. Please come out of that tree. Yes. Oh, nice one. I think I got the close to the nicest one of the day. I have a tree right here. I'm right back to where I started, guys. Right at this little chunk rock where this pebble rock turns into chunks, and I got myself a nice little largemouth to end the night. Lake Habeeb's been great to me today, guys. Numbers with this nice chunky one in the night, just a day maker. So beautiful day, late September, more like a summer's day, as hot as it was. But here we go. Let me get my last fish. in the boat. Nice chunky largemouth up in the mountains of Maryland. How about that, folks? As always, I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate you subscribing, and until we meet again, over and out.